to Wowza Studio Sessions. My name is Anthony Lazaro. I am the Senior Director of Product at Wowza, and I'll be hosting this session, which is streaming to any destination with Wowza ClearCaster. I am joined by two folks from SweetSpot, Damone Capone and Victor Cerejo. Damone and Victor, why don't you give a little intro of yourselves?
Well, thank you for having us, first of all.
Hello.
So I'm lead technical producer at SweetSpot, and Damone.
Hi, and I'm Dimon. I'm a Director of Creative Technology at SweetSpot.
Awesome. And for folks that don't know, like, who is SweetSpot?
Do you want to take it away?
Sure. Well, SweetSpot is a one-stop shop for all your video needs. We are a production company that's been in business for over 15 years. We produce shows in 41 countries so far, every state in the United States, and we've been pretty successful about it.
Awesome. And we've been working with you all, recently, getting to be a good bit. Who are your, just for some more context about who SweetSpot is, like, who are your typical customers? Why do companies typically go to SweetSpot to do some of their live streaming?
So SweetSpot, we kind of pride ourselves as being like a full-service video production, so pre-production all the way through post. We run the gamut of traditional commercial production, live production, as I mentioned, post-production, and people come to us because we kind of are a one-stop for them. We do it all. We take everything off their plate. They have a vision, they have a creative idea, and we execute it. And we execute it on multiple levels. And kind of just, once they come to us, they don't really need to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so give a little more color, like, what does a typical production look like, scale-wise, what you're doing on site?
Yeah, so it runs a very wide spectrum. Our clients and projects range from the big to small. On the live production side, we'll do product launches, red carpets, reveals, activations, brands, gaming as well. So it's we get a lot of work done, and it runs a very wide variety.
Awesome. And so we gave you early access to our universal mode in ClearCaster, and I know you've been using the ClearCaster in non-universal mode for a little bit. For folks that aren't familiar with this, Wowza at NAB launched universal mode for ClearCaster. So historically, the ClearCaster's been only going to Facebook Live. It's been using this paired encoder API where it's API controlling Facebook. And at NAB, we introduced this universal mode. So still using browser controls, cloud controls to control your appliance or fleets of encoders, but allowing you to publish to any destination, still trying to persist that reliability and high quality. We gave you very early kind of sneak peek access to this.
Yeah.
Asked you to maybe run some tests, take it for a test drive. So maybe first, just tell me what did you try to do to test out the appliance? What did you try to do with it?
So we basically approached it as once you gave us access to it and we got into the Wowza kind of ecosystem of products, the biggest one being cloud, we sort of looked at it going, okay, well, we could take the ClearCaster universal mode and send the best, optimal signal we could send to cloud. And then from there, we could scale as we need to cloud with the transcode and outputs and all that. So when you gave us universal, we put that under the stress of being like, what's the worst case scenario of having, because live streaming is a constantly changing scope and landscape, so platforms popping up here and there, and being able to have Wowza and to be within your products and scale up with that and not worry about it and just have a robust product on the field with a company that's also thinking about cloud services and distribution, that's kind of like, we're like, all right, this is awesome.
Yeah. And I sneak peeked into some of your previews. There's this crazy test video you all run, which it gave me like almost a headache.
Yeah, that's all this guy over here.
So we own a lot of gear, especially when it goes to critical pieces of gear that can break your production. All your effort goes to nowhere. We own all that gear, and we non-stop testing. All encoders always hot, so we know how to break it.
It's a skill.
Once
It's a skill to know how to break stuff.
ClearCaster, we just drop it in our rack and route our signals. We usually test with loads for encoding.
I appreciate that. We want to hand it to people that are going to give it its run.
Yeah, we're going to try to break stuff.
So that's awesome. So tell me a little bit about some of the stuff that you liked about universal mode. specifically?
Yeah, I mean, off the bat, and I mean, Damone probably has some notes as well, but the presets that you guys had put in there, kind of like taking out the guesswork and the human error of sometimes, because, you know, it's easy enough to find platform requirements. What's your GOP on this one? What's, you know, resolution and bit rate and all that, and just being able to have the box, plug it in, and going, okay, I need to go to Twitter at 1080, drag and drop, and you just push it, and sort of, you know, not to get ourselves out of a job, but making it as seamless as possible, that it's almost like we were talking about it backstage of it being like a producer workflow. You know, you put it in, you plug it in, and, you know, it's one less thing to worry about.
Yep. And one of the things that we do from a encoder control standpoint is the encoder always receives for each broadcast all of its settings upon entering into broadcast. So there's none of this legacy, oh, last broadcast I was doing something silly and all of a sudden, you know, I have some choppy frames and it's just not working really well.
Which is also cuts down significantly our testing time, because we have to track all changes on every destination, match encoders. One encoder works better, another not.
Yeah, definitely.
Streamlining process for us.
Cool. And so, you know, what about what you want to see enhanced? So, you know, what could we do to improve this universal mode?
I mean, I think that that's a tricky question right now.
It's new, you know, so
yeah,
we got a lot of opportunity is what I like to think about.
Yeah, I mean, I have to really say the preset kind of drop down was great. You had like told us we're gonna roll it out, and like in a day I saw an update and there it was, and I was just like, wow.
We need preset builder.
A preset menu.
We need preset builder.
Yep. So right now, for those that haven't played with it, we offer a bunch of different presets ranging from popular platforms, Wowza presets, and even some niche stuff. Like we have a low latency mode that will, you know, tune down your latency on your encoder, or even doing some vertical stuff. So there are some kind of niche and very popular presets, but I think one of the big ones, Damone, you were mentioning this to me, having some, let me bring my own, get some custom presetting going on. So that's on our to-do list. We'd like to have a category drop down, which could be your homegrown presets. And ideally, you can use some of our health metrics to help evaluate if you're building something that is, you know, strong, or if you're building something that's maybe pushing the machine a little bit too much, or you know, not using the highest quality settings that you could be using. So
yeah, totally.
And then, you know, in terms of your use cases, I mean, you guys run the gamut on use cases. What use cases do you think the universal mode kind of applies best with?
Stream one-to-many, definitely. Setting up, scaling up quickly on set. If we always have requests. Well, we plan to go on 2 destinations. Now we need to go on 5. Here you go. We go on the cloud.
Yep.
It's easy straight.
Yeah, I think like ease of deployment is a big one too. You know, if there's internet and a video feed, we could drop a ClearCaster there and from anywhere in the world remote in and control it and be able to watch its health and all that.
I mean, you can use it in any scenario where you need to deliver signal from location to the cloud.
Awesome.
Ultimately to a player. It's like we're all in the same boat.
And I know the cloud, you know, you mentioned the cloud a few times here. And just to cover what you all are playing around with in cloud, transcoders, and how are you envisioning cloud being fully used for some of your workflows?
Yeah, so a lot of our clients, the larger brands and organizations, you know, their social presence is multiple platforms. They all have Twitters, YouTubes, Facebooks. So when they come to us to have a broadcast, we're not just worrying about the one stream to the YouTube. We're working with their teams, and we have to send to different departments of Twitters, different YouTubes, different Facebooks. And so with transcoder and working with the ClearCaster workflow, it just becomes this where we just drop that all in ahead of time, and it's all ready to go, and it's all on standby, and it's all accessible for anyone in the team, for us, to monitor, to do checks and balances of, you know, making sure that's the right destinations and all that good stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else to add or comments on the ClearCaster?
Be excited to add your hardware to our roster.
Awesome. Well, that's a wrap for the session. Thanks to the folks at Sweet Spot. Go to Sweet Spot if you need event services. Come to Wowza.com. You're looking for hardware, software, technology, and streaming. This is it for Wowza Live Studio Sessions at NAB. Thanks.
Thank you.